to the show. It's an age-old profession whose greats have had us laughing for decades.
You know, there's a thing in this country. You're supposed to retire when you're 65. That's ridiculous. When I was 65, I had pimples.
Today, on the very, very best of the 70s, we're ranking your favorite stand-up comedians.
Number 10, Rodney Dangerfield.
He's one of the rare guys that actually goes out and does comedy for comedy's sake.
He gets no respect. Rodney Dangerfield, the best.
I tell you, I don't get no respect from anyone, you know? No respect at all. The one time I was drowning, I was yelling, help, help. And the lifeguard came over and said, all right, keep it down, keep it down.
He was born Jacob Rodney Cohen and eventually would be known as one of the coolest on-screen names.
Rodney Dangerfield to this day makes me laugh.
Rodney Dangerfield would kind of remind me of that kind of comedian that had gone through the mill.
This guy didn't get popular until he was 52 years old.
I'm not a kid anymore, I'm getting old. Yeah. I know I'm getting old. Well, my last birthday cake looked like a prairie fire.
Used to be a salesperson.
It's true. While Dangerfield would begin pursuing his career early on, he would not immediately hit his stride, forcing him to work as an aluminum salesman.
I tell you what, me, nothing comes easy. Well, last week I went to the track, they shut off the opening gun, they killed my horse.
And it wouldn't be until after he got a divorce that he would return to the stage.
I mean, last week my wife, she signed me up for a bridge club. I jump off next Tuesday.
Johnny Carson would bring him on and shut up for 10 minutes.
Every day there's something, Johnny, you know? Today's been a terrible day today.
What happened today?
I got up this morning, did my push-ups in the nude. I didn't see the mousetrap.
In fact, Dangerfield would do The Tonight Show 70 times in his illustrious career. Plus, he began to land movie roles galore.
Rodney Dangerfield stole Caddyshack. Anybody that was in a scene with Rodney in Caddyshack, sorry, you lost.
Hey, you want to make $14 the hard way?
Obviously, Rodney in Caddyshack was like the best ever.
This is the worst looking hat I ever saw. Well, you buy a hat like this, I'll bet you get a free bowl of soup, huh? Oh, it looks good on you, though.
All the characters that Rodney played, very interesting, they were really Rodney.
Rodney Dangerfield is the only comic I know where other comics sit around in a group quoting his lines.
Rodney Dangerfield, of course, is on this list. A lot of people made names for themselves on TVs or in movies, but Rodney was the king of one-liners.
My block, the kids were tough. All over my face I had pimples. They used to grab me and play connect the dots.
Dangerfield ruled 70s stand-up, securing his spot on our list.
Number 9, Jay Leno.
He's the comedian that would eventually be the face of The Tonight Show, but it all began on the stage back in the 70s.
Let's face it, nothing shocks this country anymore. They should just tell the truth. The world came to an end today. Most Americans couldn't give a shit about the whole thing.
I felt Jay could craft a joke better than any comic I've ever seen.
This guy was so great. He was the hardest worker in comedy at the time.
And that work would also include early TV writing gigs for the show Good Times.
A dynamite!
Before becoming the host of The Tonight Show in 1992, he started as one of Johnny's stand-up comics.
It's always a pleasure to introduce a new comedian to The Tonight Show. Would you welcome, please, Jay Leno.
He's a clean comedian. Very clean, much cleaner than I am. I don't cuss on stage, but I want to cuss.
I was a philosophy major for 4 years in college. Had dreams of opening a little philosophy shop when I got out.
Jay Leno is still great, still out there doing it. If you get a chance to go see him do it.
Thank you very much.
Number 8, Phyllis Diller.
Well, we've had a couple of funny men leading us off. Let's give the mic to the ladies already.
You think I'm overdressed? This is my slip.
Loud. Phyllis Diller was loud and crappy, shitty hair.
Ha! Ha! We used to listen to her after school, you know, with the hair.
I found a money-back guarantee on a beauty cream. Rushed down to the store. They took one look at me, paid me in advance.
Everyone from Whoopi Goldberg to Kathy Griffin, Phyllis Diller is right up there with influencing them.
An only child from Ohio, Phyllis wouldn't make her stand-up debut until she was 37 years old in 1955.
Phyllis Diller did the vaudeville. That was rough. If you weren't good, you got eggs in your face.
It's like unheard of, especially back in the 70s. For a female to make that kind of money and draw in a crowd.
A friend told me how to stuff my brow with Kleenex. I wish the hell she would have told me to take them out of the box.
And she was a concert pianist. Did you know that?
I'm not sure we did know that, Mr. Wallace. But did you know that she performed under the pseudonym Dame Ilia Dilia?
I always think about legacy of those women. You know, they're not going to be forgotten for quite a long time. They've touched too many people.
Groundbreaking in the 50s and 60s, when it came to the 1970s, the comedian Phyllis Diller was hitting her stride and knocking them dead.
We are living in the midst of the world's greatest sexual revolution. And what do you want to bet? I end up on the losing side.
Still to come on the very, very best of the 70s.
His records, they had to put them in a paper bag, a brown paper bag, when you went to the record store.
Welcome back to the very, very best of the 70s. So far, we've got no respect with Rodney, heard some clean ones from Leno, and got sassy with Phyllis. Sit back as we continue to rank the best 70s stand-up comics.
Number 7. Andy Kaufman.
Thank you very much. Right now, I'd like to do a comedy routine.
Andy was very odd and interesting.
Andy Kaufman knew how to push buttons. Not necessarily the right ones.
He just pissed the audience off.
I passed by him a few times in clubs and I was a little intimidated. You never knew who he was going to be. He did several characters which were very funny.
My wife. Take my wife. Please take her. No, really, I am only fooling.
He did a wonderful Elvis Presley impression.
But not all of Andy's characters remained on stage, and one in particular would cause the most havoc.
I've got to be me. I gotta be me.
I was doing Mork and Mindy the first year, and back-to-back our soundstage was Taxi. I was actually over there visiting the day Andy, as Tony, got hauled off the Paramount lot.
Yep, Kaufman's lounge singing alter ego, Tony Clifton, threw a tantrum and got fired from his guest spot on Taxi.
Now, Tony, you are not a well-liked man.
I remember the night he was on David Letterman, and the guy name was Jerry Lawler from Memphis, Tennessee. And they got in an argument, and Jerry Lawler slapped him.
As much as he ruffled feathers,
but you're a fucking asshole! A fucking asshole!
He also would leave a lasting impression for millions who loved him.
He's messing with your head. Andy's messing with you.
Offbeat, bizarre, and brilliant, Andy Kaufman caught the attention of everyone in the 70s, giving him the number 7 spot on our 70s stand-up comedian list.
Thank you very much.
Number 6. Red Fox.
He perfected his stand-up routine throughout the 50s and 60s, and by the 70s, his routine was flawless and was anything but tame.
The Lord created the fart. He created the fart, then put a smell in it so the deaf could enjoy it.
Red Fox, I mean, he was irreverent. Some people said filthy.
He was very funny. He was known as a blue comedian.
People say I'm dirty, I'm blue, I'm gross, vulgar, dirty old man. Well, let me tell you folks, that's a lot of shit.
Red Fox's humor could go really blue at times. He was not afraid. He was kind of like the early stages of Andrew Dice Clay.
His records, they had to put them in a paper bag, a brown paper bag, when you went to the record store.
I say fucking shit only for one reason. People do.
Known as the king of the party record, Red Fox would indeed lay his risky brand of comedy onto vinyl records that sold like hotcakes.
You've never fucked, shit.
Red Fox ruled the stand-up scene in the 70s. There's no doubt about it.
You've never shit, fuck.
Long before Red Fox got famous, he was working the middle of the country in what was called the Chitlin Circuit for decades. And by the time he was famous, he was very old, he was awesome.
Red Fox's real name was John Elroy Sanford, which he paid tribute to thanks to his portrayal of Fred Sanford on Sanford and Son, which aired from 1972 to 1977.
Remember this, he who keep running thy lippeth will get their lippeth splitted with one of these.
He kept saying, "Oh, I'm coming, darling, I'm coming."
I'm dying. You hear that, Elizabeth? I'm coming to join you, honey.
And he actually passed away on the set with a heart attack, which is kind of strange.
I have a lot of respect for Red Fox. There were a lot of barriers he had to go through.
Want to sit in the back of the studio?
No, I've been in the back all my life.
Every night before I go on stage in Las Vegas, I tell the people I thank God for people like Red Fox.
We thank God for him too, because 70s stand-up comedy and this list wouldn't have been the same without him.
Welcome to the Year of the Horse. And why the Chinese would name a year after my mother-in-law, I'll never know.
Number 5, Joan Rivers.
Ballsy. That's the first adjective that comes to my mind.
Joan Rivers was good.
Yesterday I said to my husband, Edgar, I said, women are like wine. The older we get, the mellower we become. He locked me in the cellar.
Joan Rivers was one of the first great female comedians.
There's no denying that in the early days of comedy, especially for stand-up comedians, it was a man's world.
Men look for looks. Remember that. Don't waste your time learning to read a book.
But that didn't stop this spitfire of a comedian from taking the 1970s by the balls.
Joan Rivers was hanging with the guys and proving that a woman could do this.
And she did, by being one of the first comedians to truly go after people unapologetically, including herself.
I was such a dog. To get me down the aisle, they threw a bone. You know what I'm telling you?
The fact that she got up on stage and threw herself under the bus, as well as her husband, was so refreshing.
Husband has a heart condition. We're upset. We pawn our rings to buy him a pacemaker. Anything, right? Second wife, the husband's got a heart condition. She's walking behind him going, boom!
I knew Joan. She was self-deprecating.
Joan Rivers, one of the finest, greatest stand-up comics, and one of the nicest people.
Stuff would fly out of her mouth, and you didn't catch it until driving home. Whoa, she said that?
Gays and booing! Look what you're wearing!
Always shocking and certainly entertaining, Rivers would take her stand-up in the 70s and translated it into a career that spanned decades.
She got more aggressive and more risque with her age, but she was always funny, so she could get away with it.
She made a whole career out of saying snide things about people, but in person, that is not who she was. She was just a very, very giving, loving person.
Well, we love Joan Rivers. She is just the best in the world. We love her.
You know what it's time to diet? When you stand behind Elizabeth Taylor and they can still see your thighs.
Number 4, Steve Martin.
Born in Waco, Texas, and raised in California, Steve Martin's first job wasn't as a stand-up comedian. It was selling guidebooks at Disneyland.
Steve Martin kind of revolutionized stand-up comedy. He had such a silly act.
Well, here's something you don't often see.
When I think of Steve Martin, I think of that goofy thing he did with his legs and his body, you know.
One little dance, and here we go.
Known and beloved for his wild and crazy stand-up style, Steve Martin would explode onto the scene in the 70s with his absurd routine that was a true standout on stage.
I gotta be me.
If you bring up Steve Martin and you bring up the 70s, you have to talk about SNL.
Martin appeared as a guest so many times in the 70s, 80s that some remember him as an actual cast member. He wasn't.
To see the boy king.
Steve Martin, you know, his career is too big to sum it up, but he had this goofiness and self-deprecating humor that was relentless and amazing.
I'd say Steve Martin is the gold standard of comedy.
I mean, he was crazy.
We are two wild and crazy guys.
And he played the banjo. That's a hidden surprise. People love to see people do something different.
Oh my gosh. I love his music.
Oh, and he could write comedy gold. He won an Emmy at the age of 23 for his work on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour.
I didn't know that, but it doesn't surprise me now.
Now, in order for me to do this, you have to close your eyes just for about 3 seconds and then open them again, and you will see right before you the incredible shrinking man.
Okay, open them.
But the stand-up for Martin wouldn't last forever. In 1979, he would co-write and star in a little movie called The Jerk.
I was born a poor black child.
The Jerk was one of those movies that when you saw it, you loved it. It was fresh. It was just amazing.
Die, milkmaid! He hates these cans!
The movie was so successful that just 2 years later, Martin would all but abandon the stand-up circuit as he became a full-on movie star.
Steve Martin ruled everything 70s. If it was funny in the 70s, Steve Martin.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Still to come on the very, very best of the 70s.
In life, he's the quietest, shyest person ever. And he gets on that stage, and it's like someone plugs it in.
Welcome back to the very, very best of the 70s, stand-up comedians. So far, our lineup has had us laughing up a storm. Sit back as we continue to rank the best 70s stand-up comics.
Number 3, Robin Williams.
Yeah! We've come to this planet looking for intelligent life. Oops, we made a mistake.
He's the comedian of 1,000 characters who dominated the silver screen and mega stages for over 4 decades.
When I think of improvisation and a quick wit, it's Robin Williams.
Mr. Hillard, do you consider yourself humorous?
I used to.
But of course, it all began with Williams taking stand-up to a new level in the 70s.
America, beach and boss country. Thank you. California. Okay. Fuck a duck.
What was so funny about Robin, in life, he's the quietest, shyest person ever. And he gets on that stage, and it's like someone plugs it in.
He's just always on, and people just thought he was a fast-thinking, fast mover.
Here's a quick one. Here's a Polish hijacker.
Nobody moves. I first met him on Happy Days when he took over a segment called Mark for More.
Wait a minute, who are you? I am Mark from Mark.
He came in the day before shooting and improv the whole script. It's the best show in the history of Happy Days.
I had a Zabadee time here on Earth in 1950s.
Fred Silverman was at ABC at the time. I even believe before the show aired, he had ordered 13 episodes of Mork and Mindy.
It's true. The studio was so overwhelmed with Robin Williams' portrayal of Mork on Happy Days that they immediately gave him his very own series.
Susan, even though you're...
We would just improvise on the set, just together, because I came from theater. And I would just go with whatever he threw out.
Would you like to spend Christmas over here?
Well, I suppose I could change my plans.
As a comedian, he would indeed set an incredibly high bar, blending his style of improvisation, quick wit, and amazing impersonations.
I feel like Richard Simmons.
And I don't think you could ever learn to do what he did. You could never copy it.
To me, the number one comedian, absolute bar none, in the 70s and maybe life.
Thank you all, brothers and sisters. Can I get an amen from you right now?
Amen. Stick around. There's more laughs to come on the very, very best of the 70s. Welcome back to the very, very best of the 70s. So far, we've chatted with Joan, got wild with Martin, and crazy with Robin. Relax and enjoy more 70s stand-up comedians.
Number 2, George Carlin.
Ladies and gentlemen, George Carlin!
He was political, he was opinionated, and above all, he was absolutely hilarious.
Ass is all right on television. You can say on television things like, well, you've made a perfect ass of yourself tonight. But you can't say, hey, let's go get some ass.
George Carlin is the best storyteller and the best stand-up comedian ever.
He had this really deep voice, and he kind of looked like this weird hippie-ish guy, but oh my God, he can make you laugh.
Cock, if you're talking about the animal, it's perfectly all right. They used to read that to us from the Bible in 3rd grade. And we would laugh.
I mean, to this day, you watch 20 minutes of George Carlin and you just need a diaper.
George Carlin in the 70s was just starting to define who he was.
Did you always want to be a comedian? Not in the womb, but right after that, yes.
Known for his sharp social commentary on everything from materialism to language.
Have you ever tried to buy a kit and caboodle? You can get a kit, but they're all out of caboodles, man.
Carlin often went against the grain of establishment. He was arrested for obscenity after a stand-up routine in the 70s and even was court-martialed 3 times during his short stint in the Air Force.
George Carlin transformed from the guy who had to wear a suit and be clean-shaven to the guy who could have a beard and say whatever the fuck he wanted to.
George had this knack, this ability to take any slice of life and just make it special and funny.
The upper class keeps all of the money, pays none of the taxes. The middle class pays all of the taxes, does all of the work. The poor are there just to scare the shit out of the middle class.
I'm not sure people remember this, but he was the first host ever for SNL in 1975.
Football
is played in a stadium. Baseball is played in a park.
George Carlin was a comedian's comedian. He was a thinking man's comedian.
He really was a child of the 60s and a product of the 70s. And as far as the 70s as a decade are concerned, you can't dig the 70s without talking about George Carlin.
In my opinion, George Carlin, hands down, is one of the funniest and best stand-up comedians of all time. 70s, 80s, whenever. He was the best.
Police fired over the heads of rioters today. However, they killed 200 people living on the second floor.
Number 1, Richard Pryor.
He's got an Emmy and 5 Grammys, and now the number 1 spot on our list.
A lot of people here might be offended, so you should leave now because I'm going to say fuck and suck and shit and doo-doo.
Most comedians will tell you Richard Pryor was the best.
I miss Richard Pryor. So Richard Pryor was what you call your dark side of the force comedy.
Now, who else can take all the forms of comedy, slapstick, satire, mime, and stand-up, and turn it into something that'll offend everyone?
For me, his comedy was like subtle. It was like he's telling you a story and then he just kind of hits you with it like a baseball bat.
Are you all finished with the, you were still undergoing some therapy for the burns and stuff. Are you pretty much through with that
Pretty
now?
much through. I just got to go through. Every morning I have to get up and set myself on fire.
Pryor was funny, even when talking about the serious, like when he lit himself on fire after freebasing cocaine in 1980.
I remember this one. It strike the match like this. Say, what's that? Richard Pryor running down the street.
He talked about everything, and he brought us together, and he changed comedy.
Richard grew up in a brothel as a baby, as a kid. He grew up in a brothel.
My mother's Puerto Rican, and my father's Negro, and we lived in a real big Jewish tenement building in an Italian neighborhood. Every time I go outside, the kids say, "Get him, he's all of them."
So all the stuff that happened to him, all the stuff that he said and talked about was based upon experience.
The vulgarity of what he talked about and how he talked about it, I actually just found it courageous rather than off-putting. Another genius.
And a true genius on the stage in the 70s, as most comedians that followed cite Pryor as a major influence.
My favorite joke was the 2 black guys going up on the Golden Gate Bridge. They were arguing about who had the biggest Johnson. He pulled his thing out and said, "This water cold." Other niggas say, "Yeah, deep too." That's straight from Richard Pryor.
Whoa, this is a family show. You know what? F it. It's Richard Pryor. Take this show out the right way.
I said, God, thank you for not burning my dick.
And that, my friends, is your 70s stand-up comedians list.